Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mayor Whitmire.
Present.
Councilmember Peck.
Here.
Councilmember Jackson. Councilmember Kamen. Councilmember Evans Shabazz. Councilmember Flickinger will be absent. Councilmember Thomas will be absent. Councilmember Huffman. Councilmember Castillo.
Here.
Councilmember Martinez. Councilmember Pollard.
Here.
Councilmember Castex Tatum.
Here.
Councilmember Ramirez.
Here.
Councilmember Davis. Here. Councilmember Carter. Present. Councilmember Salinas.
Present.
And Councilmember Alcorn.
Here.
Need a motion to adopt the minutes of March 24th and 25th.
Castex Tatum move.
Peck second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say yes. Those opposed nay. Motion passes.
Councilmember Castillo for the procedural.
Councilmember Castillo.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to suspend the rules to add Gloria Flores de Guardado and Jared Dobronic to the bottom of the 1-minute non-agenda list.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say yes. Those opposed nay. Motion passes. Anyone else?
No, sir, that's all.
Members, we have a very long list of speakers signed up today. Because we have 150 minutes worth of speakers, the rules require us to only give each guest only 1 minute, even if you signed up for more. So welcome, everyone. We hope you'll abide by that rule so we can have a successful evening. With that, Ms. Secretary, our first speaker.
Andrea Guerrero. Andrea Guerrero. Kathy Fletcher. To be followed by Americ Paquette.
Either one.
Hi, my name is Kathy Fletcher, and I'm a proud Houstonian from District C. I'm here to thank Councilmember Salinas for introducing the proposal to improve how our police interact with ICE, and Council members Kamen and Pollard for their support. Your leadership reflects what Houston stands for, a city that welcomes people from all over the world, that work hard, enrich our culture, raise families, and put down roots here. Houston is one of the most diverse and dynamic cities in America, and that is our strength. But due to MAGA and ICE overreach, 1 in 7 Houstonians now knows someone detained or deported. Nearly 4,000 immigrant children have stopped coming to school out of fear. MAGA and ICE are not on Houston's side. Their actions are damaging our schools, our neighborhoods, and our economy, and wasting the time of our officers to serve their political agenda. This ordinance is common sense. I urge every council member to vote yes and to keep pushing for even stronger proposals so every Houston family can live here without fear. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Americ Paquette.
No question.
Americ Paquette. No. Haley Rogers. Patricia Chin. To be followed by Philippe Diaz.
Mayor Whitmire, Houston City Council members, my name is Patricia. Thank you for your time. I'm here to talk about community safety, and what I'm supposed to do is start with some shared values or a problem that we can all agree upon. However, my fellow Houstonians have been doing this for quite some time with very little movement on the part of the council, so I'm going to try something different. Maybe this is a problem that you care more about. HPD is licking ICE's balls. They are acting like lapdogs in service of ICE over their fellow Houstonians. So what I would like to ask is for the council members to please put back a key provision that I understand was taken out of Salinas' proposition. This key provision would have allowed HPD to have some more discretion when they're at traffic stops, particularly for members who, particularly for people who have administrative warrants. So put back that key provision. It's very important. And then once the original provision is back, or once the original proposition is back where it should be, then I would ask the council members to bring it forward to a vote, and everybody should vote yes, especially Mr. Castillo, since you're my council member. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Philippe Diaz. To be followed by Kyle Rogers.
Council members, I'm one of your Midtown constituents,
and I'm here to talk to you about the Prop A ordinance regarding cooperation between HPD and ICE. It's a great first step. However, allowing HPD to detain people for more than 30 minutes beyond their original traffic stop while they are waiting for ICE to arrive is a violation of the Fourth Amendment, as established in the 2015 Supreme Court case Rodriguez v. U.S. And in cases where ICE doesn't show up, HPD members should not be compelled to share that person's name and address back to ICE. Executive ICE warrants are civil matters and lie outside of HPD's jurisdiction. There are no grounds for this kind of cooperation. Our city's police force are sicking ICE agents on community members, most of whom are regular taxpayers and without any kind of criminal history. This is not my idea of safety, and something tells me it's not yours either. I urge you to change the ordinance to remedy these points. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Salinas.
Thank you for all the speakers that are here. I just want to offer some additional information about where the ordinance stands today. So the two remaining provisions that were deemed lawful have been added to the agenda, and they will be voted on next Wednesday. So please know our focus is to try to pass these two items first, and then we will work together with community to address the additional provision that is deemed unlawful. But my hope is we can focus on the two provisions that have been passed, approved for lawfulness, and then we'll have the fight on the administrative warrants piece. But thank you so much for coming to speak. Thank you all for being here. This is democracy at work, and it's amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Kyle Rogers. Hadley Hollingsworth. Is it? No. Anna Stone. To be followed by Clark Foster.
Hi, my name's AJ. I am 8 years old. So, the problem with ICE is that I'm scared to go out of my house. Like, ICE is everywhere. Like, all around Houston. Like, I'm scared. How does it feel when you guys are trying to, like, if somebody is black, right? And ICE is following them, like, they're all over the city, right? So I am scared to go out of my house on the street because I am worried that I might be captured. And I separated from my family. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anna, and this is my son, AJ. We have had currently no negative interactions with ICE or police, but this fear is very real, and it's not something I can just say, don't worry, police are safe. We have seen police take kids off of this, or we have seen ICE take kids away from their families. If 5-year-old Liam wasn't safe, how can my 8-year-old feel safe? I urge City Council to vote yes on this new ordinance to protect Houstonians. While more work needs to be done, I do feel like this is a step in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Clark Foster. To be followed by Kim Saouk.
Hello, I'm a resident of District D in the city of Houston, and I'm here to speak against HPD and ICE collaboration. Houston and its residents deserve better from our city government. We deserve to have more transparency. We deserve to have non-enforcement of we deserve to have an HPD that is not cooperating with ICE, and that administrative warrants are not being used as grounds for HPD to arrest, detain, and transport individuals. I would like to see greater transparency from the city, not to see feet dragged by members of our city government on admitting to cooperation between ICE and HPD as we've seen in the past, and to see a stronger advocacy for protecting the Fourth Amendment and our right against unlawful search and seizure as well as detention. The actions that the City Council can take are greater than those which they have taken in the past.
Your time has expired.
Thank you. Next.
Kim Saouk. To be followed by Dale Story.
Good afternoon, Honorable Houston City Council. My name is Kim Sauk, and I live in District K. And I believe that the ICE agents and HPD should communicate with each other to better manage the situation here in Houston and what they're working towards. So there should not be any limits in communication. And generally speaking, in the workforce, communication should anyway promote better outcomes, a better place to live here in Houston. And so I believe that they should be able to communicate. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next.
Dale Story, to be followed by U.A. Lewis.
Dale Story, retired political science professor emeritus, District C, speaking in support of the original Salinas et al. Proposed ordinance and in strong opposition to the city attorney's decision to delete the section on ICE administrative warrants. This amounts to a unilateral decision by an unelected official beholden only to Mayor Whitmire, essentially an executive veto prior to even being considered by the council. While disguised as a legal opinion, this decision is a prolongation of the false and racist rhetoric regarding this community. The literature clearly shows that undocumented immigrants provide a net positive contribution to our economy, and they average a level of criminal activity far below that of native-born citizens. Uphold democratic decision-making and protect our communities. Follow the truth. Si se puede.
Thank you. Next.
U.A. Lewis, to be followed by Haney Khalil.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm a civil rights attorney here in Houston, Texas. And I'm a civil rights attorney here in Houston, Texas. And the young man, AJ, made a point that is very valid. As a United States citizen, he has every right to be afraid of ICE. Here in Houston and all over the United States, I'm holding up a picture of Keith Porter Jr. He is a former Houston resident. He will no longer ever be a Houston resident because of the actions of ICE and a story that was lied about him that he was shooting when he never was. This is the things that we have to be afraid of, and I encourage you all to pass this ordinance. It's very important as it stands and as it was presented. Mayor Whitmire, I encourage you to be the leader on this and not take anything out of it and respect the law that I know that you can and will do in this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Haney Khalil, to be followed by Elissa Cuellar.
Good afternoon, Mayor Whitmire and City Council members. I'm Haney Khalil with the Texas Gulf Coast AFL-CIO, and on behalf of our Federation's 75 affiliated unions and 60,000 union members, I urge you to pass the revised immigration ordinance. Last week, our Federation's Executive Board voted unanimously to support this ordinance. We did so because unions believe every worker deserves to live and work without fear, regardless of our immigration status. Houston is built by working people from all backgrounds, including immigrant workers who are vital to our economy, our unions, our families. But when workers fear that interacting with police could lead to deportation and harm to their families, they're less likely to report crimes, take their kids to school, speak up about unsafe conditions on the job, or even report to work, making all of us less safe and the economy more vulnerable. Dallas, Austin, Bexar County have already passed similar ordinances. We believe that deleted officer discretion provision is lawful and will continue advocating for that. But in the meantime, the City of Houston should take meaningful action today to protect immigrant families by passing this immigration ordinance.
Your time has expired.
Thank you.
Councilman Kamen.
No, really, Hanny, I think you answered it because you said that the body, first off, thank you for your leadership and the voices of our working families. You had said that the body had voted in favor of the proposition. That was prior to the legal ruling by the city legal department to remove a section. Just for the record, y'all would support it as a whole as well. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to look. The labor movement is very practical. We would like to see progress made when progress is on the table, and we will continue to advocate for what we think is lawful. Other cities have passed this. we think that other provision should be added back, and we'll support it then.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Elissa Cuellar. To be followed by Tana Pradia.
Hi, I'm Elissa Cuellar, resident of District D. I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of very different people in the last several weeks about police and ICE and immigration in Houston. And one thing I've noticed across the board, no matter who you're talking to, people are very quick to identify a personal relationship that they have to an immigrant in their lives. It's like they can't help it, actually. And I think that this is because we all have this, when you live in Houston, you know that every single day of your life, an immigrant does something to make your life a little bit better. It's an unavoidable reality here. Councilmember Carter, the last month when we were here, I heard you say that the conversation we were having that day was not really about immigration. And if that's true, I hope that it can be a conversation instead about seeing every person as a human being first and everything else second. I've heard you advocate for police accountability. A lot of you advocate for police accountability and public safety, and I believe that. I want to believe that. I want to live in that world.
Your time has expired.
Thank you. I'll finish up.
Thank you.
I would like to live in that world. But the way things are now, we are weakening police accountability to Houstonians by making police accountable to federal immigration authorities. So please pass the ordinance, and I hope you have a serious conversation about taking HPD off of non-safety traffic stops. Thank you so much, and have a nice day.
Good afternoon, council members. I am Tana Padilla, one of the co-founders of Positive Women's Network, Texas Strike Force. So as a native Houstonian, it is really important, but also as a black woman living with HIV, that these policies that should be designed so all motorists benefit from a clearer rules, safer enforcement practices, and fewer unnecessary policies interaction. But what I'm saying today is, as someone who is 65 years old, who pride herself living in Houston, that we need to have policies and procedures that benefit all of Houston, not just parts of Houston, when it comes to immigration, when it comes to people's health care, when it comes to the rights of the people that have grew up and been a part of this community for a lifetime, deserve to have the things that they need as Houstonians, but also as human beings. So please consider the policies and procedures that are beneficial to Houston.
Your time has expired.
Thank you.
Gloria Flores de Guardado. She moved. Jared Dobranic. Sir Tony Curry.
Hold on. If they're in the overflow room, how does that work? Are we going to wait for them to walk over? Okay, we'll come back around. Okay.
Sir Tony Curry. Robert Stubblefield. To be followed by Ian Lavacek.
Good afternoon. My name is Bob Stubblefield. I'm coordinator of the Justice Ministry at Resurrection Metropolitan Community Church over in Timber Grove Manor. We're here representing both my congregation and Texas Impact's Houston Faith Votes in support of Council Member Salinas' proposed ordinance clarifying the law regarding when HPD is required to contact ICE officers. I'm asking that the proposed ordinance be implemented to limit HPD officers' involvement in immigration enforcement during traffic stops. specifically encounters involving individuals with administrative, immigration, and civil warrants that are not signed by a judge or a magistrate. Under the current policy, there is danger of racial profiling and pretext abuse, whereby some officers could use seemingly minor traffic violations like a cracked windshield as a pretext to stop a vehicle and escalate a routine traffic stop into an immigration enforcement encounter.
Your time has expired.
Thank you.
Next.
Ian Lavacek, to be followed by Sarah Hirsch.
Good evening, Council. I grew up in Houston's East End in District I. When I attended Land Trip Elementary School, I was one of the few white children in class. But I didn't realize it because they were just my friends and that was just my community. But now that I'm older, I realize that my skin color is a privilege and it is undeserved. So I want to use it to protect the other members of my community who don't have that privilege. Across Houston, especially in District I, many are immigrants or have immigrant relatives. They're scared. They don't trust HPD, and so they don't call. And they don't talk to the council members because to them, you're part of the system, fair or not. America has played a nasty bait and switch for decades. We love cheap immigrant labor and the food and goods they provide, so we recruit them, we look the other way until we need a scapegoat. Then we cast them as villains and criminals, even those trying to navigate our Byzantine immigration system. I ask you to support the ordinance from Salinas, Cayman, and Pollard that would define the relationship between ICE and HPD.
Your
Thank
time
you.
has expired.
Thank you.
Sarah Hirsch, to be followed by Amanda Moreno.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Hirsch. I am a resident of District I. I am also a high school teacher, which makes me a civil servant, and I understand how precious Tuesday night evening time is. So that's why I'm out here. It's worth it to me to come speak in support of the Salinas, Cayman, Pollard, ICE, and HPD ordinance. I would very much like it if you all voted for it.
Thank you. Next.
Councilmember Pollard has a procedural motion.
Councilor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Pollard.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to add Cesar Espinosa to the end of the original 3-minute agenda list.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say yes. Those opposed, nay. Motion passed. Councilmember Salinas.
I'd like to make a motion to add Leticia Gutierrez to the end of the 1-minute list.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All in favor say yes. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Am I good? Okay. Fellow Houstonians and City Council members, first, thank you so much for your time. I stand here today to oppose Proposition A, as it would limit our HPD's cooperation with federal immigration authorities. Our elected leaders were chosen by U.S. citizens, not by people who are here unlawfully. We must work with our state and federal partners, not against them, to enforce the law and ensure American prosperity. Catering to those who are here unlawfully is not compassionate, it's reckless. It drives up the tax burden on hardworking Houston families who already pay for emergency rooms, hospitals, schools, and public services strained by those who enter our country unlawfully. Enough is enough. Houston deserves leaders who put American citizens first. Reject this proposal. Stop coddling non-citizens at the expense of taxpayers. Demand full cooperation with ICE and federal law. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Please.
Amanda Moreno. Oh, that was Amanda? Oh. No. Oh. Nicole Hughes. Oh, I'm sorry, Nicholas Hughes. Esmeralda Ledesma. To be followed by Letty Ortega.
Good evening, council members. My name is Esmeralda Ledesma, and I am with Woody Juntos, advocating for immigrant communities across Houston, and I am a resident of District C in the Museum District. As a Houstonian directly impacted by immigration policy, I was eager to learn about Councilmember Salinas' ordinance empowering HPD to not do ICE's dirty work for them. As we all know, Houston is a city that thrives from diversity, and to have an ordinance like this presented for the hundreds of thousands of Houstonians that are immigrants who call the city home was long overdue. This moment of joy was short-lived when I learned about the city attorney's cut to the single most impactful piece of the ordinance. Without the section regarding HPD not calling ICE on administrative warrants, the protection for our communities is only the very beginning of what Houstonians need. Today I call upon you, the council members of the City of Houston and the City Attorney, to stand up for all Houstonians, regardless of status, to ensure no one has to live in fear. Across Houston, fathers fear being pulled over on their way to work, mothers think twice before going to the grocery store, and children bite their nails fearing... Oh, thank you.
Your time has expired.
Mr. Stan, some have shown up that we called their name.
Yes, sir.
You want to recall their name?
No,
you can go ahead, ma'am. You go ahead, but after her, let's play catch up and those that missed the call.
Yes.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Leti Ortega. I'm a Houstonian and organizer at Mi Familia en Acción. We work with communities across the county, including youth and mixed status families. We believe that when every community voice is included, we can create solutions that help every family thrive. We don't have safer or happier communities when people are afraid to call for help when they're being hurt, need an ambulance, when they're sick, or to simply be outside in their community because they don't know what will happen or if they will be treated fairly. Collaboration with ICE does not bring safety to Houston communities. It puts the freedoms and rights of everyone at risk and creates fear, distrust, and confusion in our city. We all want families in Houston to thrive and live in safety, not fear. Ending collaboration with ICE on administrative warrants is an opportunity for the city to restore trust so families in Houston can feel safe when they encounter HPD or face any emergency. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next.
Haley Rogers. Haley Rogers. To be followed by Kyle Rogers.
Hello, my name is Haley Rogers. I'm an organizer with Houston Leads and DSA. But most importantly, I am a lifelong Houstonian of this city, and I care for this city deeply, even though half my family has urged me to leave this city. And I want to acknowledge, while this ordinance is a step in the right direction towards harm reduction for our most vulnerable communities, it is not enough. Taking out the key provision in Prop A that allows HPD discretion to call ICE when an administrative warrant is found in the NCIC database is not what the city wants, needs, or demands. I urge the council to reinstate this provision in the form of an addendum. Every day we hear about horrible conditions detainees, especially women and children, are facing within the detention centers in this state. I'd also like to recognize that Austin and Dallas have also passed similar provisions with the same language, and Greg Abbott has not withdrawn funding from these cities either.
Thank you.
Kyle Rogers. To be followed by Gloria Flores de Guardado.
Hello, Council. My name is Kyle Rogers. I'm a resident of District I. I would just like to say, basically, on policy and process, to me it seems like requiring police officers to do reports to ICE over the minimum required stop time is opening up the city to just lawsuit after lawsuit based on Fourth Amendment grounds. And I would suggest that you not do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Gloria Flores de Guardado. To be followed by Ruth Hoffman Locke.
First, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Carmen Mayorga, and I'm with SCIU Texas, and I'm going to be doing the interpretation for our member.
Okay. Mi nombre es Gabriela Guzmán, tengo 55 años, trabajo para Georgia Brown. No somos los únicos que estamos aquí, hay más trabajadores abajo, ¿sí? Y nosotros...
Okay. My name is Gabriela, and I'm 55 years old, and I work for Georgia Brown Convention Centers, and I also have other co-workers downstairs.
Ok, estamos aquí a nombre de todos, trabajadores de seguridad y trabajadores del aeropuerto y trabajadores de Georgia Brown.
I'm here in support of our airport workers, and not only that, but also city contract workers and airport workers.
Ustedes pueden marcar una diferencia para nuestras vidas. Necesitamos que estén con nosotros.
You can mark a spot in our lives so you can make a difference.
No podemos vivir con lo que ganamos.
We cannot live with what we're getting paid.
Muchos de nosotros tenemos dos trabajos.
A lot of us have two jobs.
Yo trabajo de 6:30 de la mañana a 3 de la tarde.
I work from 6:30 in the morning to 2 p.m.
Y por la noche trabajo de 11 de la noche a 3 de la mañana o 4 de la mañana para levantarme 6:30 al siguiente día.
And then I work from 11 p.m. to 3 in the morning and sometimes to 4 in the morning, and I wake up at 6:30 in the morning.
Recientemente se aumentaron los salarios de las personas del Hilton, American Houston, pero nosotros no tuvimos ningún aumento.
Just recently, the Hilton America received a pay increases, which we have not received a pay increase.
No estamos pidiendo nada irrazonable.
We're not asking nothing irrational.
Estamos pidiendo justicia y dignidad para nosotros.
We're asking for justice.
Justicia y dignidad para nosotros.
And dignity
Your
for
time
us.
has expired.
Por favor, no nos dejen atrás.
Please
Muchas
don't leave
gracias.
us behind. Thank you.
Thank you. Cayman.
No, Mayor, I just wanted to say to our speakers, but also to all of our labor, because I think she mentioned that there are workers downstairs that are listening right now, to thank them for coming as well, because they work extremely long hours under very difficult conditions, and the fact that they showed up here not only to speak, but to show their support by showing up really means a lot. So I just want to recognize that we have a lot of workers in the building that may not be speaking tonight as well. Thank you.
Ruth Hoffman Locke. Colin Bosson. Are you?
Good afternoon. I'm the Reverend Dr. Colin Bosson, Senior Minister of the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston, speaking in support of the original ordinance as proposed by Council Members Salinas, Kamen, and Pollard, including all three provisions. Our congregation was founded in 1914 and has been a voice for social justice in Houston for over a century. The values that have guided us in our work for civil rights, gender equity, and LGBTQ rights are the same that bring me here today to speak for immigrant rights, namely the belief that all persons have inherent worthiness and dignity, and that all are deserving of love, respect, and equality under the law. Please work to enact the full ordinance to protect the rights and dignities of all Houstonians. Thank you.
Amy Carl. Roy Hirsch. To be followed by Alexandria O'Neill.
Mayor Whitmire, members of the council, I'm Roy Hirsch. I live in District I, and I join my like-minded Houstonians and completely support the adoption of the ordinance on this ordinance on the grounds that public monies should not be spent for HPD to engage in chaperone obligations to ICE related to administrative warrants which are civil in nature and not reviewed by a judge. Austin, Dallas, and San Antonio have adopted similar measures. I simply ask the council to please pass this ordinance. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alexandria O'Neill. Timothy Taft. to be followed by Stephanie Wilkins.
Your Honor, the Mayor, members of the City Council, my name is Timothy Taft. I live in District F. I see my council person's not here, and have resided in Houston since 1968, except for 2 years in the Army, including a tour in Vietnam. I served as a Harris County prosecutor for 16 years and a justice on the First Court of Appeals here in Houston for 14 and a half years. I also served 7 years in the Texas Airborne National Guard and many years as deacon and treasurer of Pine Valley Bible Church. My wife, who is a native Houstonian, and I continue our 20 years of service to our neighborhood as citizens on patrol. I have come to speak against the proposed ordinance that would place the concerns of illegal immigrants above the safety of all Houston residents, including both legal and illegal. ICE is simply carrying out immigration law that was not only not executed during the Biden administration, but immigration law was flagrantly violated millions of times.
Your time has expired.
I thought I had 2 minutes.
Councilmember Carter.
Councilor Carter.
Point of order.
I thought I had 2 minutes.
Sorry, it's Mayor. Point of order. May I make point of order? I know that temps are high right now, and I know everyone is extremely passionate, but we can't hear what people are saying when someone's talking, and whether we agree or disagree with them. Can we please afford them the same respect as everybody else in the chamber, please?
I thought I had 2 minutes.
Carter.
I'm on the 2-minute list.
Just everybody gets one.
1 minute, sir.
Oh, okay. Could I submit copies of...
we're going by strict enforcement.
Okay. Could I have copies for the mayor and,
Yeah, you can
and the
hand out.
council members?
Give
Can
the
I give them?
copies to that gentleman right there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Right.
I'm put them at there. Stephanie Wilkins. Joy Davis. Carla West.
Somebody signed all these people up.
Are you Carla?
Hello, distinguished members of our council. Again, hello, distinguished members of our council. I want to thank you for your service, and I want to remind you of two things that are really, really important to me. This is Holy Week. In Holy Week, we recognize, even though this should not be political, it should not be religious inside these chambers, it is. But we're here to recognize the death of who I consider my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who was an immigrant. But one important thing about him is to remember that although he was Jewish, although he lived in a certain place, he died for us all. So let us honor all people. So in traffic stops, certain people that look a certain way shouldn't be targeted. They shouldn't be afraid, because traffic stops and our police is here to protect us all. So let's protect us all
Your time
and respect
has expired.
us all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ursula Surreal from Fresno. To be followed by Jared Dobranic.
Okay, good evening. First of all, my last name was misspelled. It's Ursula Serial, spelled S-E-R-E-A-L, for the correction, please. Good afternoon. I am speaking today on traffic stops. I hope my words are heard, or really heard this evening, okay? Regarding the fair traffic enforcements, you know, we hope that to ensure the safety and fairness in traffic stops is for everybody, regardless of their race or their immigration status. I hope the City Council endorse measures that maximize relief for the drivers and build public trust in everybody's community, especially in the Black community. Many in my neighborhood, the black neighborhoods, we share and we worry about the escalation of traffic stops. I've had that experience.
The time has expired.
Thank you. Next.
Jared DeBrandt, to be followed by Monique Jackson from Humble.
My name is Jared. I was born and raised right here in Houston. I'm here today because I deeply care about the direction our city is taking regarding the safety and rights of all our neighbors and friends. The ordinance is an important step, but as it stands, it simply doesn't go far enough to protect our community. Houston deserves policies that provide full protection, not half measures that leave the door open for overreach. If major cities like Dallas and Austin already have implemented policies that provide safety for over ICE, there's no reason why Houston cannot do the same. Every Houstonian deserves to feel safe in their city. I urge the city council members to vote yes for the original ordinance. Thank you.
Monique Jackson. Quinn Dufarina, to be followed by Christine Vo.
Good evening. My name is Quinn Dufarina, and I'm a resident of District H. So for the council members, I'd like to have you take a moment and just think and remember why you got into public service. I would like to think, or I truly hope, that you told yourself that you would make hard decisions in tough times, that you would choose to fight for what is right in the face of pressure from those that may have more power than yourselves, be it the mayor, the governor, or even the president. Now is the time to make good on that promise to yourself and to your constituents. That moment is here. If you're not willing to take a stand for the community, we will find others who will do so. There are innumerable talented, passionate, competent Houstonians that are ready to take the mantle. They're in this room, they're in your districts, and they're in the city. And they are ready to take on the challenge of resisting authoritarianism. If you are too afraid to stand up to fascism, if you are too beholden to your donors, or too corrupted
Your time has
by
expired.
special interests, this job is not for you. Please do the right thing and vote in support of this proposed ordinance. Thank you.
Christine Vo, to be followed by Sylvester Redenberg.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Christine Vo, and I'm a resident in District A in Spring Branch. I organize with Stand Up Houston, an immigrant rights organization here in Houston. I've been here before, and I'm back again to urge you to end the police department's cooperation with ICE. For months, organizers and community members have come time and time again to beg you to actually serve and protect your constituents. Every single council member here should be supporting Councilmember Salinas' proposal in its original language, not the one that has been changed by the city's legal department. But I want to remind you that while this is a great first step, it's still not enough. We all know that, and you all know that. Earlier tonight, we heard from AJ, a child, about how scared he is of ICE. And I just want to ask, why doesn't that move you more to do more? The ordinance in its original language is a good step, but don't you want more for your city? Don't you want more for the people that have trusted you to protect and serve them?
Your time has expired.
I'm asking you to imagine a better future for us all.
Sylvester Redenberg. To be followed by Griffin Walker.
Hi, I'm Sylvester Vredenberg, and I'm a resident of District C. Councilmember Salinas' proposal, in its original language, is a crucial first step for a city that deserves so much more. I was recently doing outreach with PSL and Stand Up Houston, and I spoke with some workers at a small clinic in Wayside and learned that it and many clinics like it are closing because people are afraid to leave their homes and go to the doctor. Between that and the horrible conditions in ICE detention centers, this is a public health crisis. The mayor has suggested that cooperating with ICE is protecting us from some kind of crackdown from Trump or Abbott, but this is blatantly false. Houston leads the nation in ICE arrests, and we know it doesn't have to be this way. Organizers here are already doing the crucial work the city should be doing, and we all saw in Minneapolis how students, unions, church leaders could unite, carry out a general strike, and win. We cannot let the city's legal department stop us from doing the bare minimum to protect immigrants in Houston. I want ICE out of the city, and I know that that's possible.
Thank you.
Griffin Walker. To be followed by Kevin Joaquin.
Good evening. I'm Griffin from District C. As an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation and Stand Up Houston, an immigrant rights-focused volunteer group, I've spent the last year getting to know local immigrant communities and working alongside them to amplify the visibility of this deeply unpopular ICE crackdown. It's become more clear each and every day that this city, whose leadership claims to acknowledge the incredible contributions of immigrants, is a hostile place for all of us. HPD pretends to be concerned when communities don't trust them, yet uses any excuse to call ICE. Whitmire pretends to be honest while lying about HPD and ICE collaboration, and pretends to be protecting citizens from large ICE crackdowns by sacrificing our most vulnerable. City Attorney Arturo Michel pretends to be concerned with state law while pulling out the key provision that gave this ordinance some teeth.
Your time has expired.
Pass this ordinance, end all collaboration with ICE.
Kevin Joaquin. Andrea Guerrero. Robert Gallegos. Okay. To be followed by AJ Gomez Stone.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members, for this opportunity. I want to personally thank Councilmember Salinas, Councilmember Pollard, and Councilmember Kamen for taking the courage and putting this forward. I'm here representing the Latino Learning Center. I'm on their board. I'm also president of my civic club, and we voted in support of this ordinance. Also, as many of you know, I served on this body for 10 years and possibly voted for over thousands of items that were on the agenda within those 10 years under two mayors, Mayor Parker and Mayor Turner. And some of them were tough. But council members, this item is not tough. During the 2020 census, Houston is made up of 46% of the population is Hispanic. 1 out of 4 are foreign born. We're the most diverse city in the United States. If our city needs to grow, Houstonians need to make sure that they are safe to go to work and they are safe, their kids are safe to go to school. Thank you.
District Robert. Next.
AJ Gomez Stone. Jennifer Rychek. Stephen Wu. To be followed by Randall Baxley.
I'm Stephen Wu. I'm the interim executive director for Woody Juntos, and I'm going to try to hold two things to be true. The two remaining provisions of the Salinas Ordinance are good, transparency and upholding the Fourth Amendment. But the removal of the discretion provision was asinine and ridiculous. Dale said it best. How are we allowing an appointed official to dictate the will of the people? I need the city council members, especially those who are attorneys, to talk with him and convince him and tell him that he is wrong. We also need to make sure that for future actions, things like non-safety traffic stops, we must go further to prevent more of this violence against our communities. And lastly, it's very evident that folks here in front of me are way too comfortable. My last message is for the people behind me and for the people who are watching right now. Organize with us at Woody Juntos, organize with us at Houston Leads, and make sure that whatever we want, we get done.
Randall Baxley, District H resident. Taking a moment to thank Amy Peck and Willie Davis for joining us on Friday for the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Day at our park in Northside Houston. Also, to just simply state that if a man knows it is right and does it not, unto him it is sin. If a man knows it is wrong and does it, unto him that is sin. Now, I paraphrased a little bit, but not a lot. We all know in our hearts, from the second chapter of Genesis, that which is right and that which is wrong. And I vote, and hope that you will vote the heart that God gave you. Thank you.
Gerard Lynch. Gerard Lynch. Nora Pierce. Isaiah Lopez. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Nora Pierce, and I'm a member of the University of Houston YDSA. Today, I am mourning. I'm mourning the people who've interacted with HPD and have not been able to go home and tell their loved ones about it. I'm mourning those who have been pulled over for a broken taillight, for those who have called HPD to report domestic abuse, and any Houstonian who has been kidnapped by masked agents because of this group's ineffectiveness. I had to rewrite this because I planned to come and urge you towards supporting Prop A. I'm still here to promote this, like a lot of people here, but the removal of the provision that allowed HPD discretion makes me sick. You're telling me that an unelected member of the Houston city government decided to strike this? That's not the voice of the people. And does the Houston city attorney, Arturo Michel, believes that does Houston believe that Austin, Dallas, and Bexar County are committing crimes, or illegally moving against the state government? Because our city attorney does.
Your time has expired.
Never forget where Houston's investments lie. With corporations and not the people. You must vote yes to these remaining measures on Prop A. For Houston and for your continued employment in this government.
To be followed by Julie Nguyen.
I'm here because of how unserious and pathetic this body's efforts to protect our immigrant communities have been. We need real action, not apathy and weak ordinances that fall below what other Texas cities have already done. Unfortunately, we probably have the most unfit leadership for this crisis. This is the same mayor known for gutting vital public services in black and brown neighborhoods to pay for more policing and surveillance. The same mayor that attended a fundraiser for a Republican that was a moderator of a racist Facebook group. Same mayor that initially tried to lie about ICE collaboration. It's really vile and pathetic stuff. To make matters worse, the city attorney's interpretation of the law is out of step with what other Texas jurisdictions have already done to protect families, and even appears to be out of step with the Fourth Amendment. To our council members that put the ordinance on the agenda, well, I'm glad that y'all are using Prop A to challenge bad leadership. Clearly, y'all have to push harder. How do you want to be remembered? As leaders that took bold action against fascism, or as people that didn't do enough for their communities?
Thank you.
With the trust and time they were given, y'all have to do better than this.
Julie Nguyen. James Conley. Elizabeth Guide. James Cummings. To be followed by Elizabeth Guide of Humble.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Beth Guide, and I'm from District E. I'm not part of an organized group like many here, and I doubt very highly many of them understand what it's like to be here on a visa. I do, because I lived the first 7 years of my life as a permanent resident. I'm a naturalized American citizen now, and I went through the process legally. I provide documentation all of my life. I am asked on a regular basis and have to carry my naturalization certificate with me. I don't think people realize that. It's not uncommon when you live in that kind of a situation. Okay? I don't think it's right to hamper law enforcement. Your job is to keep the city safe. If ICE stops me, I can show that I'm here legally. If you can't, then you either need to figure out the process, fix the process, or go back to where you came from. I don't fear it. I don't worry about it. And I think we're making this very much unsafe to allow people to run around that you don't know that are here. You don't know if they're immunized. You don't know anything about them.
Your
so
time
I
has
say,
expired.
let's support law enforcement.
You, James? You, James? Okay.
As a UH student organizer, and more importantly to y'all, a voter, I would like to tell a story about one of your former coworkers. A couple of months ago, I cast my ballot for the Democratic Party primary, and while I didn't care for most names, one of them made me so excited I almost shouted in the voting center. That name was Letitia Plummer, a former councilperson here who, if you don't know, attempted to push legislation through to allow HPD to not have to call ICE on anybody with an administrative warrant. It was because of that inkling of knowledge that I happily voted for her. If Proposition A, which would do just that, does not get passed in its entirety, if you cannot pressure the city attorney's office to capitulate and, excuse my French, do as Austin and Dallas did, then the same grace I'm sure many others like me gave Ms. Plummer will not be extended to you. This bullshit-ass state law excuse is no longer based in reality. Y'all are free to put your profit in front of your politics, but that's all that anybody or any voter will ever see you as, a profiteer.
Sarah Lopez. Sarah Lopez.
Could I ask our guests to listen for a moment? We're being so tolerant, and I'm going back over the names that missed their first call. So we're doing our part to make this a fair hearing. Would you please honor our rules? We're up here and we get the noise a lot more direct than you do, and it is eating, and you are eating up some valuable time. So we can have a very fair hearing this afternoon, respect each other, particularly those that you might disagree with, but please hold the noise down. We're doing everything we can to respect you, so please be respectful of that. Okay, thank you.
Sarah Lopez. Susanna Duran. To be followed by Laura Perez Boston.
Hello, good evening. I'm Susanna Duran. I'm an organizing manager at Workers' Defense Action Fund. We are a member-led organization that fights for working immigrant families in Texas. I live in District J, but I'm actually new to Houston. I moved from Atlanta, where I was an economist for the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and an organizer long before then. When I joined the Workers' Defense team, I was immediately met with warmth and optimism from our members. I've gotten to meet so many Houston members, and I've gotten to know their stories, their laughters, their fears, and the futures they envision. And there's a common thread. They want to live in absence of fear. They want to go to work, and they want to make it back home safe and sound. They want their children to go back to school. They want to go to the park on weekends. They want to go to the flea markets again. They want to go together as a family. But they are being separated, detained, and deported because HPD is literally detaining and handing over individuals to ICE to be separated from their families, to be starved, to be made sick, and to be made to suffer in detention. Our members fear this.
Your time has expired.
Voting yes is a just thing to do.
Laura Perez Boston. To be
Good evening. My name is Laura Perez Boston. I'm the statewide organizing director with Workers Defense Action Fund, a member-led organization that organizes alongside Latino families to fight for worker and immigrant justice. I've lived and done community organizing work in Houston for the last 20 years and live in District A. I'm here today because all residents in this amazingly diverse city deserve not just safety, but the freedom to stay and thrive in our communities. The impact of HPD's collaboration with ICE isn't just a ticket or a flag in the system. It goes far beyond that. It's the trauma and generational impact of separated families, the economic hardship of credit card debt to pay attorney's fees, and suffering in inhumane conditions in detention camps. This collaboration is destroying families and our community. This is not who we are in Houston. Workers Defense Action Fund, along with Houston Leads and Rise Coalition, will continue urging City Council to go further.
Your time has expired.
Thank you. Next.
Teodoro Aguiluz. To be followed by Darlene De Leon.
Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Teodoro Aguiluz y represento a la organización Crecen, una organización comunitaria con más de 10,000 miembros en diferentes distritos de Houston.
Good afternoon. My name is Teodoro Aguiluz, and I represent Crecen, a community organization with more than 10,000 members across different districts in Houston.
Ahora quiero expresar en nombre de nuestras comunidades la profunda preocupación que existe por el deterioro de la confianza entre la comunidad y la policía. Durante muchos años, la policía representaba cierto nivel de seguridad y protección. Sin embargo, esa percepción ha cambiado debido al temor que genera la colaboración entre la policía local y ICE.
Today, I want to express on behalf of our communities the deep concern about the deterioration of trust between the community and the police. For many years, the police represented a certain level of safety and protection. However, that perception has changed due to the fear created by the collaboration between local police and ICE.
Ese temor tiene consecuencias reales. Muchas personas ya no se sienten seguras para denunciar delitos, para llamar al 911 cuando están en peligro o para colaborar con la policía como testigos.
The fear has real consequences. Many people no longer feel safe reporting crimes, calling 911 when they are in danger, or cooperating with police as witnesses.
Por esa razón, hoy pedimos respetuosamente a los miembros del Consejo Municipal que voten a favor de la propuesta de ordenanza de la concejal Salinas, que es un paso importante para reconstruir la confianza. Muchas gracias.
For that reason, today we respectfully ask the members of the City Council to vote in favor of Council Member Salinas' proposed ordinance, which is an important step toward rebuilding trust. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Darlene De Leon. I am a member leader with Worker Defense Action Fund. I've taken on many roles across the city beyond photography, including supporting work in the legal field, supporting businesses, building community connections. I am a mom, a sister, a friend, a helper, and a protector and proud daughter of a domestic worker. I live in the Southwest Houston District J. I'm here to ask you to vote in favor of Prop A, the proposed ordinance on community safety and immigration introduced by Council members Alejandra Salinas, Edward Pollard, and Abby Kamen. We need to act with the same courage it takes for families to live their daily lives in the face of uncertainty. This isn't just about immigrant families. It affects our entire community. Fear spreads businesses are disrupted, and children are left with questions that often go unanswered. Houston cannot be neutral. We need meaningful action that protects communities, allows families and businesses to thrive, and creates a healthy atmosphere where everyone feels safe and supported. Thank you for your time.
Your time. Oh, thank you. Vive Fam. Terry Chen, to be followed by Mark Waddell.
Good evening, council members. I'm Terry Chen. I'm a lifelong Houstonian, resident of District H, and I'm the community organizer with Woody Juntos serving immigrant communities. We were all really excited when Council Member Salinas introduced the original ordinance that would empower HBD to not call ICE for federal administrative warrants. And then with whiplash speed, the most impactful piece of the ordinance was cut due to the city attorney's interpretation. This leads us to understand the city attorney is only being Whitmire and HPD's puppet because the other major Texas cities have passed this ordinance with no pushback or repercussions. It's a little suspicious that the city attorney doing Whitmire's bidding has a differing opinion from the many legal experts that worked on the original ordinance. I want to thank council members Salinas, Pollard, and Kamen for attempting to keep our families safe, but we need all the council members to find the courage to do what's right and to keep us all safe. Passing this ordinance is the absolute floor.
Your time has expired.
Thank you, City Council. My name is Mark. I'm from District A, and I've come to talk to y'all about what's going on right now. I come in support of Proposition A, and I'm also coming to talk about the inaction that's happened in this council right now. Thank you to the people that have come to this action, but we, behind me, the people who have been talking have all come from the same place, people as workers, and we are tired of the status quo. People who do not fight are allowing the status quo to keep happening. We are tired of it. Us as a working class are coming together to talk to you and say we are tired of getting arrested for low-level marijuana offenses. We're tired of getting pulled over and being talked to. We are tired of it. We are fighting and we are fighting, and we come every month. We're doing all we can, and I am in support of Proposition A. Thank you.
Roshan Evans. Roshan Evans. To be followed by Laura Castanedo.
How y'all doing? Thank you, City Council, Mayor. First, I want to say, I want to give y'all a special thanks. You know, normally a lot of y'all, it look like y'all don't be paying attention or listening. But today, you know, like I can actually tell, like you guys are actually listening. I also want to give a shout out and a thanks to Edward Pollard came in, and a special shout out to Alejandra, because you are the newly elected council member, and you all understand that something needs to be done, and it needs to be done today. Our undocumented population do not deserve what they are experiencing at the hands of law enforcement or ICE. They do not deserve the detentions, especially behind non-safety traffic stops, and they especially don't deserve deportation. But I also want people to remember that at the same time we moving forward to figure out a solution, because something do need to be done. We need to figure out a way to move in unison, because black people have been fighting on the front lines since day one and representing everybody and their issues. So when it comes time to solve a problem, make sure you do not cut the black issue out, because they are my brothers and sisters and I am theirs.
Rashawn, I know, is one of the leaders of Pure Justice, and I just want to recognize the work of Pure Justice and of advocates that are continuing to advocate for all of the communities throughout Houston. Again, we have a ton of speakers, so I'm not going to go into a lot of that, but I do want to make sure that you all are getting the recognition for the work that's being done behind the scenes as well.
Councilman Shabazz.
Thank you, Mayor, and certainly, Roshan. You know, I really appreciate when I see you and when you speak. And I also want to point out the great work that you and your organization have been doing. And you actually brought the non-traffic safety stops to us prior to this. So I hear you, and I...
With them, coalition, we all work together very hard.
Whatever. I saw you and your group come forward before this happened. And so I thank you, as always, for your participation and your words of wisdom.
Yes, sir. Councilman Salinas.
I just want to very briefly say, Roshan, as you know, in our many conversations, I believe, and many of us believe, this is a both-and situation. So let's work together to get this passed and work together to work on non-safety traffic stops.
Laura Castaneda. Larkin Blackwell from Prairie View. Tangi Smith. Coretta Brown. Gian Thomas, to be followed by Cecilia Fontenot.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name... Oh, either one? Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Gian Christopher Thomas. I am the CEO and founder of POP, Protest, Organize, and Participate. And I'm here because the traffic enforcement should be about safety and not fear. It should be about protecting public and not creating more distrust between the government and the people it serves. Too many residents, especially Black and Latinos, and low-income families and migrant families know what it is to be anxious at a traffic stop. What should be a routine, quick process has become a larger problem in the city of Houston. People are being deported, families are being torn apart. And it's for y'all, our city council, to be that front line. This fear is not imagined. It's national research is behind it, including work from the Stanford Open Policing Project, has shown that Black drivers are stopped and searched more often than white drivers.
Thank you.
I couldn't finish my statement, but I think y'all get the...
Cecilia Fontenot.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cecilia Fontenot. I am here to support deprioritizing non-safety traffic stops. Far too many elected officials and others take Black people for granted. They call on us to stand in unity, to fight in unison for everyone's issue except our very own. Today, this must stop. Yet when it's time to act, our issues are pushed on the back burner. Relief is not selective. All communities need relief equally. If we are serious about solving these problems, then we must solve them for everyone. Black, Latino,
your time has expired.
Together. I thank you all.
Are you Kenneth?
I'm Ken Rogers.
Kenneth Rogers, all right.
And I'm not going to state the obvious. I think my colleagues have done that already. I want to pull on your heartstrings. I want you to try to imagine years ago, when you were newly married, you had a toddler. Your focus was on a roof over your head, food, transportation to work. And you have those things. But all of a sudden, you backed into a pole and you lost your tail light. You cannot afford to repair your tail light. You get stopped. you get a ticket. Not only can you not afford to repair your tail light, you can't afford to pay the ticket. Now you have a warrant and you're riding dirty at the same time. Now you get picked up and you wind up in jail. That's not the pathway that we should be providing
your time has
for these
expired.
young people. Thank you. Use your heart and your head, please.
Second, Ms. Rogers. Councilmember Shabazz.
Thank you, Mayor, and I just wanted to thank you, Ken Rogers. You know you and your wife, Dolores, hold a very special place in my heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lanita Robinson. John Creer.
First, I want to say hello to Sally. Tell George I say hello. I just turned 74 last week, and I'm here to support my brown brothers and sisters, because what's happening to them has been happening to black people for years. I graduated from high school in 1970. I remember driving a car with my girlfriend at 16 years old, getting pulled over. Police didn't ask for no ID, where you coming from, where you going. I remember as I got older, coming from River Oaks. I've been in River Oaks for 26 years doing lawns. Going down Fairview. We pull out this store, we going down Fairview. I saw this police pass me. I looked in my mirror, he made a U-turn. I already knew what was about to happen. He followed us for like 6 or 7 blocks. It was me and my co-workers, 4 of us. Pulled us over on Fannin. By then he had called backup. And
your time has expired.
Okay, when he didn't even say, come up to the window. He said, get out the car, come to the back of the car. I said, what are you pulling me over for? He said, because your sticker is out. I said, my sticker's not out. He walked to the front, my sticker wasn't out. He said, well, my license had expired for about a month. He said, well, your license is expired. I have my insurance. That means your insurance is probably invalid. I'm going to give you a ticket for invalid insurance. I go to court.
Okay.
I hand the judge the insurance papers. The judge said, why are you giving me this? I said, well, he told me he was giving me a ticket for my insurance. Was no good, but he gave me a ticket for my sticker. The judge said, man, get out of here. So I'm saying this has been going on for years.
Okay,
it's
thank
happening
you.
to my brown brothers and sisters right now. And I respect police. My cousin was a policeman for 35 years. I have one of my friends, my mentors, was a member of the FBI. So I respect law enforcement. But you have rogue people that pulling over people just because of the color of their skin.
Your
It's not
time
right.
has expired, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Elizabeth Ortiz. Or Elizabeth Ortiz. Ortiz. To be followed by Rebecca Sale.
Council, I'll be translating for Elizabeth.
Mayor, point of order. We received some new technology to work on our translation service. Would you let us test it out and not translate? So if she can just speak in Spanish, we can test the technology to see if it works for future reference.
Will the council still be able to understand her testimony?
That's what we're trying to test out.
And y'all will be able to read the script.
So when she speaks in Spanish, it's supposed to translate in English on our screen. So I want to test it out without your translation.
Okay.
Okay.
Entonces va a ser una traducción automática. No me necesitarán. Entonces haz de cuenta que nomás vas a hablar y ellos lo van a entender.
Okay. So just go ahead and
Why don't you not look at it? Go ahead and ask the Mayor
Soy
Pro Tem to
Elizabeth
let her
Ortiz,
test.
miembro de Defensa Laboral y vivo en el distrito de Houston. El 7 de octubre detuvieron a mi esposo, Luis, afuera de nuestro departamento, Los Cherry, del condado. Lo golpearon, quebrándole 3 costillas y las narices. Aún así, en detención por 5 meses en condiciones horribles, tiene récord limpio. Me quedé sin trabajo, me quitaron mi carro, me cambié de departamento porque solo he podido sobrevivir vendiendo comida. Casi no tengo para hablar con él, ni siquiera una vez a la semana, para encontrar un abogado. Luis cuesta miles de dólares. Por encima, el hermano de él murió sin verlo mientras él estaba en la cárcel. Luis es alguien quien quiere, y ese quita el taco de la boca para dárselo a otra persona. Le pregunto a ustedes, ¿qué haría en mi situación si la persona que aman le pasaría algo, su familia, que no lo haría por ellos, que está dentro de sus alcances? Afuera fue arrestado por el condado y ustedes todavía tienen la responsabilidad de crear una ciudadanía sin miedo. ¿Qué enfrentaremos nosotros? Cabe dentro de un orden, pero es lo mismo de deber de hacer. No colaboren con migración ni ninguna forma. No honren las órdenes de migración que no vienen siendo nuestro de un crimen ni lo mismo que una orden judicial. Gracias.
It apparently works for us, but why don't you go ahead and do it so our guests can hear what was transpired.
Que lo traduzca porque creo que el aparato técnico.
Okay. I feel like, Mayor, I think that as we start using this service, that we need the closed caption should also be translated.
Yeah, it's a pilot project.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're correct. We'll do it there for the guests. But why don't you go ahead if you can.
Okay? Hello, my name is Elizabeth, a member of Workers' Defense, and I live in District A. On October 7th last year, county sheriffs arrested my husband, Luis, outside of our apartment. They beat him, breaking 3 of his ribs and his nose. He's still in detention for 5 months under horrible conditions, and he has a clean record. I lost my job afterwards. They took my car. I moved out of my apartment, and I've only been able to survive by selling food. I can barely afford to talk to Luis even once a week. Finding a lawyer for Luis costs thousands of dollars. On top of that, Luis's brother died without seeing him while he's in jail. Luis is the kind of person who would take food from out of his own hands to give it to someone else. I ask of you, what would you do in my situation? If something happened to the person you love, your family member, what wouldn't you do for them? What is within your power? Even though he was arrested by the county, you still have a responsibility to create a city free from fear. What we're facing doesn't fall under your jurisdiction. What we're facing falls under your jurisdiction, and it's the least you can do. Do not cooperate with immigration in any way, in any capacity. Do not honor immigration orders that aren't evidence of a crime, nor are they the same as a judicial warrant. Thank you.
Rebecca Sale. Trying to see if she no. Danny Hernandez. To be followed by Jocelyn Soto.
Good evening, council members. My name is Dani Hernandez, and I am currently an elected trustee for HISD. I live in District I, and I am also the president of the East Lawndale Civic Association. I'm here to say that as the Civic Association, we support Prop A. I want to thank the City Council members, Salinas for writing the proposition, and Pollard and Kamen for supporting the proposition and the ordinance. Trust and confidence in law enforcement is not optional. They are the foundation of public safety. When people are afraid of the police, they do not report crimes, they do not ask for help, and they do not come forward when something is wrong. Fear does not make our neighborhoods and our communities safer. It isolates people, it weakens communities, and makes effective policing harder for everyone.
Your time has expired.
That was a 3-minute?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Councilmember Pollard has a procedural motion.
Councilmember Pollard.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to call back up Tangi Smith after this speaker.
Second.
Tangi Smith, yeah.
Going to say yes, those opposed say motion passes.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn Soto, and I am here to ask this council to vote yes to Prop A and to stop collaborations with ICE. ICE is a multi-billion-dollar industry built on the exploitation of immigrants. They cause fear in our communities, do not follow the rules of law, and serve the goals of a fascist regime. Additionally, ICE has built a concentration camp in our backyard, one that is holding hundreds of innocent civilians under extreme conditions that no person is built to withstand. Lastly, our immigrant community makes up a quarter of the city's population. Houston was built by and still runs on the power of immigrant communities. I implore you, as our representatives, to end all contracts with ICE, to stand up to fascist leaders, and to consider how you will be remembered in history. You will either be champions of the people or complicit in a fascist regime. You decide. Thank you.
Tangi Smith. To be followed by Jan Southern.
Good evening, Council. My name is Tangi Smith. I am a native Houstonian. I have not been afraid of the police until the last 20 years. You want me to pull it down? Okay. What about now? Okay. I have not been afraid of the police until the last 20 years. I got pulled over in a traffic stop and I was profiled because I was an African American. I really believe that the policies have to change. I really believe that if it was not for another officer with that officer and saw my wheelchair, the guy was going to ask me to get out of my car. There was no way I was going to be able to do it in a timely fashion. I'm just asking you guys to actually redo the policies and stop the profiling because it's not right. We are law-abiding citizens and we should not be judged according to how we look, but because if in fact we have done something wrong. Because my tag was expired and I had the information, the guy ran it. And he told me, ma'am, you have to go back to Kroger because they did not put the information in the system correctly. That's not my fault. I have what you asked for. Don't profile me because I am a citizen. I'm a law-abiding citizen, and that's what I have to say.
Thank you.
Jan Southern. To be followed by Carlos Rebular.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. My name is Jan Southern. I'm here to oppose Proposition A as put forward by the council members in an effort to install sanctuary city policies in the city of Houston. Local law enforcement and federal immigration authorities must work together in a clear and lawful way to protect our communities rather than being discouraged from working with one another as proposed in Proposition A. I apologize to you for some of the comments that have been made towards you. I think you do your job well. You do it as well as you can. We're asking our police officers to make decisions on the fly. I think that's not what we want them to do. We have laws on the books that need to be enforced, And I'm encouraging you to decline Proposition A because they're asking you to not enforce those laws. Thank you.
Carlos Rebellar, to be followed by Zobeda Casanova.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Carlos. I am a local pastor living and serving in Houston's historic Segundo Barrio. The stories we are hearing as local pastors across the city in immigrant Hispanic churches are heartbreaking and alarming, to say the least. We've seen faithful church members and leaders separated from their families, separated from their children. I believe it's incumbent upon you, Mayor and City Council, to ask yourselves, will we make the vote necessary to further protect our most vulnerable Houston families, or will we retreat into fear ourselves, fear of losing funding, fear of poking the bear, whatever it might be? I want to tell you a quick story with the last few seconds I have left. Queen Esther in the Old Testament risked her life by approaching the king unsummoned to stop the destruction of her people. She spoke truth to power, leading to the protection and salvation of her people, putting herself on the line. Who knows, maybe God has placed you in your position for such a time as this. Vote for Proposition A.
Good afternoon. I'm one of those senior social services coordinators for Kids in Need of Defense, that's KIND, here in the Houston field office. KIND works to protect unaccompanied children by providing holistic, legal, and psychosocial support, helping immigrant youth recovering from trauma, stabilizing their lives, and safely navigating complex systems. Every day, we see how fear of immigration enforcement harms children. Many of young people we serve come to this country hopeful, excited for a chance to learn, make friends, and build a future. But the lines between law enforcement and immigration enforcement is becoming increasingly blurry, specifically when young people see security or police presence at or around educational institutions. Those situations spark fear and their hopes is cut short. They're forced to make an impossible choice, continuing pursuing their education or withdrawing out of fear of arrest, detention, or family separations. We need strong trust-based relationships between communities and law enforcement.
Your time has expired.
Thank you.
Mayra Herrera, to be followed by Tuan Nguyen.
Buenas tardes. My name is Mayra Herrera, and I'm a senior social service coordinator with Kids in Need of Defense at the Houston field office. In my work, I see how that trust is undermined when immigration enforcement becomes entangled with everyday life. I've had child clients forced into caregiver roles for younger siblings after their parents were detained during routine moments, like stopping at the grocery store to buy milk or traveling to a medical appointment. I've also worked with children who hesitate to report bullying or seek help from school administrators because they fear school police will involve ICE. Instead of reaching out, they stay silent. The silence has real consequences. When families fear that contact with local law enforcement could lead to detention or deportation, they are far less likely to report crimes, cooperate as witness, or ask for help when children are at risk. Thank you.
Tuan Nguyen, to be followed by Scott Singleton.
Hi, everyone. This meeting has more attendance than the last one, so I'd like to recount some of the events of the last one. It was after the session where most of the council walked out, despite Mayor Whitmire skipping half of the speakers. He's, I guess, deciding to play nicer this time. I guess it's some type of apology tour meant to dispel us from the failures that he's had as a mayor. So after that session, The preceding session, the mayor blockaded the entire terrace off and forced everybody through a side lane. I'm not sure if anybody was aware. I'm not sure if anybody on city council was aware or is holding him accountable for this. It's probably because you don't go in the same way as us. You're probably better than us. That's why. What then proceeded to happen during the meeting is that the council did not allow everyone to clap. So while people are being kidnapped, children are locked in cages, we were supposed to do this. What is that? What is that? And so the reason why we're here is not because of the proposition. The two remedies in the proposition are because of what the mayor has done. He's violated the Fourth Amendment, and he's undermined transparency in the city. That's what those two are addressing.
Your time has expired.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Glad to see y'all. Love evening session. People more eloquent than I have been up to speak in support of the Salinas, Cayman, and Pollard ordinance. I'm not going to be the last. If ICE's extrajudicial oppression isn't enough to meet Stephen Miller's quotas, why does the city feel obliged to have HPD help ICE? With apologies to Native Americans, we're all from someplace else. Houston, as much as anywhere, has benefited from and depends on its immigrants. If Dallas can do the right thing, why can't we? Thank you.
Osvaldo Lopez. Davis DeRusman. To be followed by Norma Gonzalez.
Hi, good evening. Council members Salinas, Cayman, and Pollard, thank you so much for your leadership on this ordinance. Because let me tell you, this policy is a hell of a lot better than the mayor's current Domino's Pizza-ass ice policy. Arrives in 30 minutes and they're free. Mayor Papa John Whitmire. Anyway, I'd like to direct the rest of my speech to any council members on the fence about voting yes. Voting to protect immigrant residents in a county with the second most immigrants in the nation will not harm your career, except if you vote no. Just like how voting against Hero 10 years ago cost Dwight Boykins his return to the horseshoe, among other things, and especially if you won your election by, say, 338 votes or 2,057 votes, just random numbers. So if you're up for re-election next year, be prepared for big, glossy mailers with the words, "Council member, your name here. Voted to protect ICE. Voted against immigrants." If you won't vote yes out of a sense of humanity, chalk it up to political survival, because voting no will have someone else in your seat in 2028. We, your constituents, immigrants, and their children and relatives and friends and coworkers and neighbors will see to it.
Norma Gonzalez. Norma Gonzalez. Sandra Peters. Salamu Alimasi. To be followed by Gilda Bayagon.
Hello, my name is Salem Alimasi, a former refugee and now a proud citizen, grassroots organizer from CWS. Last September, I organized a meeting with Pollard and City Council Tiffany about this case because we saw it coming. Last November, my brother-in-law got arrested for a tail broken light that led him for 4 months in ICE detention. That cost us $17,000 for bond to release him. Across Houston, families are losing their sense of faith and security and safety. But tonight, with hope, we elected you to vote and to protect the community. And that's what we hope for. Thank you.
Gilda Bayagon, to be followed by Barrett McNabb.
Mayor, council, this is not a question of love versus hate or what neighborhood you're from, what color you are, what your background is. It's a question of enforcing the law. And no one in this room, none back there, and none of you have the authority to decide which laws to enforce and which laws to ignore. And you know, this is a federal law. You do not have the authority to supersede federal law. And when you try it, you cause, can you ask them please to let me speak? When you interfere, you cause confusion. You cause less law enforcement. We've seen cities as recently as the last week and a half where an 18-year-old Loyola University freshman was murdered as she tried to run away from a Venezuelan immigrant who had been caught twice and released. We don't want that in Houston. Unless there was some kind of massive voter fraud, the people who elected you were U.S. citizens. You served U.S. citizens.
Your time has expired.
That's who you're here to serve. I ask you,
Your
please
time
do
has
not
expired.
adopt Proposition A.
Barrett McNabb. Barrett McNabb. Ping Chow Wayne from College Station, to be followed by Shanza Branch.
Good evening. My name is Pen Chao, a master's student in landscape architecture at Texas A&M. There's an urgent demand for investing in drainage system in vulnerable neighborhoods. In Satgas, for example, a northeast neighborhood in northeast Houston. Pollutant sources are everywhere around the neighborhood, and even a very mild flood can bring contaminations across the neighborhoods. So over 50% of households are under the exposure of lead. And in Satgas, the average life expectancy is 11 years shorter than the Houston average. So investing in drainage is not only about stormwater management, but public health, environmental justice, and the equal civil rights to every single Houstonian. Thank you.
Shanza Branch. Mitchell Collins, to be followed by Eric Gonzalez.
Good evening. My name is Mitchell Collins. I'm a lifelong Houstonian and current resident of District H. About 20 years ago, our street in the East End was updated with new drainage infrastructure that ended up keeping us and our neighbors safe from flooding during Harvey. We are extremely grateful for this and glad to say that there haven't been any flooding issues on our street since. I wish the same for the rest of my neighbors in 2nd Ward and 3rd Ward and 5th Ward, and for anyone in this city who lives on a ditch-lined street that floods every time there's a significant weather event. Personally, I believe every Houstonian deserves to be able to feel safe and deserves the same level of protection against flooding. Many of you in your campaigns for the offices that you now hold made promises to keep Houston safe. If you fail to invest in infrastructure that will help protect the most impacted and marginalized communities from flooding, you have failed in your duty to keep us all safe, and you will have failed to meet the promises you campaigned on. We live in an increasingly flood-prone city. Failure to address the problem will only make it more dangerous and more expensive. Your time has expired. I ask that you do your duty and fully fund the ditch reassessment program with $45 million in the FY 2027 budget. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Eric Gonzalez. I'm a worker, student, and community organizer in District F. I'm here today in support of flood infrastructure and to ask that the ditch reestablishment program be fully funded in the 2027 fiscal budget. I've seen far too many families, particularly those in disadvantaged communities, being at the forefront of extreme weather events that we as a city simply weren't prepared for. but it's simply not just extreme weather events that impact us. We've seen how small rain events can flood the streets and sidewalks, and this isn't just dangerous for drivers, but makes sidewalks intraversible for pedestrians. You just literally can't pass sometimes. We can't control these weather events, but as a city as prosperous as Houston, we definitely can invest in infrastructure that prepares us for them. Our citizens deserve to feel safe and secure in their homes, and I just want to add this also extends to HPD collaboration with ICE, which I urge you to vote against. Thank you.
Councilmember Salinas.
Yes, I'd like to add Nick Vaughn to the end of the 1-minute list.
Say yes. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Madison Hesser.
Yes, hello. My name is Madison Hesser. I'm a senior landscape architecture student at Texas A&M University. For my capstone project, we were working with Texas Target Communities to work with a neighborhood called Setagast. And when we went down there, something we noticed immediately, that the flood infrastructure was not sufficient. It was not what we had been taught was up to standard and code for areas that were at risk for flood events. It is something that needs to be improved on. The people in Setagast especially already deal with so many health issues. Their soil is flooded with lead, xylene, arsenic, and creosote, which is causing significant health issues. When this flooding event happens, there's going to be all sorts of contaminants flushed into people's houses. They're not going to be able to come away from that event healthy. And so I call on the City Council tonight to look into the ditch reestablishment program so that you can fully fund the repair of these swales so that they can be up to code, so that the people in all these communities can have the same access and equity for flood infrastructure that the rest of the people need. Thank you. Have a good evening.
My Juan. Dana Jones. Mize here. Okay. My Juan to be followed by Dana Jones.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Hon Mai. I'm living by the Shophouse area, and I am not a Native American, so my language probably a little bit accent. I'm sorry for that. However, my concern is the flood issues in the Houston area, mainly in the city of Houston. I am visually impaired. However, I'm not deaf. I still can hear, and I can observe by other senses. And I found that flooding is a big issue in our city, especially, I believe in the northeast area, also in my area as well. And after major crisis flooding, and I found that there are places that we people endure with the flooding issues. So I believe that the city of Houston...
Your time has expired.
Yeah, thank you. Should commit their effort to help us to solve the problem. Thank you.
Dana Jones to be followed by James Jones.
Hello, my name is Dana Jones, and I live in District 8. Flooding is a very serious and ongoing issue in my neighborhood. Many of the people in my community have moved out simply out of fear of their family being targeted. This year, Council voted to take $30 million from the drainage fund and redirect it toward removing dangerous buildings. I understand the need to address the unsafe structures, but I want to highlight critical concerns of the people: flooding, drainage, and housing. The working poor, seniors, and people with disabilities in our communities are not asking for luxuries. They're simply trying to survive. You, our elected officials, need to hear the voices of the people and respond to what they are telling you what they need. I hope this year's budget will include the public's needs and not the desires of the few. The money allocated for specific things should go where it is designated. More funding should be put towards this. I'm grateful for the help that I've gotten, but the larger problem is drainage. We need to address the real long-term solutions in the flooding in our neighborhood, not just temporary fixes. I want to end with a quote from Marvin Zimler. It's hell to be poor.
Hello, how y'all doing today? My name is James Jones. I represent for God and Our God Creations. I got a solution for all these problems, and I'm ready to stop ICE in its tracks. You know, we got to bring the truth to reality. And this world been living on a lot of lies and foolishness. And I got a solution for all the foolishness that's going on in all the different communities. With my city cleanup, I started one with Sylvester Turner, and I made a big difference in the city of Houston. And so now it's time to wake up and smell the coffee. And thank y'all, and y'all have a blessed day.
Tracy Hamlin, to be followed by Ali Khan.
Mayor, Council, my name is Tracy Hamblin. I live in District I. First off, I support limiting non-safety traffic stops. That said, for years, residents have been told austerity is necessary, but in practice, it's left our city understaffed and struggling to keep up with basic services. Hiring freezes for city workers are not a neutral budget decision. They directly impact service quality. When departments lack sufficient staff, response times slow, maintenance is delayed, and small issues grow into larger, more expensive problems. Lifting the hiring freezes is not a luxury. It is essential to maintaining reliable services and ensuring our city can meet the needs of its residents. Tonight, I'm asking for concrete action. End austerity budgeting that undermines essential services, lift the hiring freezes, and restore full staffing across city departments. These are not radical demands. They're the minimum standard for responsible governance. The people of this city are not asking for extravagance. We're asking for competence, transparency, and follow-through. We're asking for a city that works. Thank you for your time.
Ali Khan. Stephen Vargas. To be followed by Crystal Townsend.
Evening, City Council members. I'm Stephen Vargas from District G. I was here last fall asking for y'all to consider creating an HIV line item in the city budget to address some of the concerns that are arising right now. We have a lot of changes happening at the federal level, which also affect our state level, and it's creating gaps in care and prevention and care. And so we need our city, we need all levels of government to start helping out with a city line item budget. That should help us out tremendously to addressing the gaps that are created inadvertently by what's happening at the state and the federal level. And I have to stand here and thank Councilmember Salinas and Pollard and Kamens, because what you're trying to do can also ease the pressures on people's fears for accessing their medical care. So please, each city council member, support that measure. We are watching to see who does, and we're watching to see who doesn't. When it comes to people living with HIV, there's close to 40,000 people in Houston alone living with HIV. We can be a voting bloc. Remember that. Thank you.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Crystal Townsend. I am a Houstonian My name is Crystal Townsend. I'm a Houstonian and also the organizing director at Positive Women's Network USA. We prepare and support all women, trans and cis women, gender diverse people, and transgender people living with HIV to be effective advocates and leaders. I want to say thank you to Roshan for inviting us here to stand in solidarity with other community members. And I've been listening And I stand in solidarity with the community asking for clearer and fairer policies in non-safety traffic stops and separating ICE from HPD because we don't live single-issue lives. I think you heard Stevens talk about people living with HIV. In fact, when people living with HIV encounter law enforcement, they are often subjected to worse treatment and enhanced criminal charges because of their HIV status. That's not right. Instead of wasting taxpayer dollars, we're asking for you to invest in public services, particularly for people living with HIV. I know this is possible.
Your time
I'm
has
almost
expired.
done. I know this is possible. The late Councilwoman Ada Edwards made this happen in the early 2000s, and we're asking for one of you to step up and meet with us and the Texas Strike Force to make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Elena Ferguson. To be followed by Evelio Escamilla.
Good evening, City Council members. My name is Elena Ferguson, and I'm a District K resident. I currently serve as a policy specialist at Positive Women's Network, a national membership body led by and for women and gender-diverse people living with HIV. According to a 2024 report done by the Houston Health Department, Houston has higher rates of new HIV diagnoses and HIV prevalence compared to Texas and the greater U.S. Yet, there has never been a dedicated line item in the general fund of our city's budget for HIV treatment and prevention services. At the time of increasing uncertainty in federal and state funding, this leaves our local HIV response vulnerable to delays, cuts, and service disruptions. Without a city investment, there is no buffer when state and federal funding gaps occur. This city must use every lever of power to ensure consistent and robust access to care and treatment options for the estimated 32,000 Houstonians living with HIV, regardless of their income, immigration status, or neighborhood that they live in. Thank you.
Your time has expired.
Hello, my name is Evelio Escamilla, Salinas Escamilla. Of course I support Prop A. It's an easy vote, come on. We all live here together. But I'm here also to support my colleagues, Stephen Vargas and the Positive Women's Network. I have the data here. How Houston, Harris County ranks in among other Texas major cities, among Hispanics. I work for a Hispanic agency. So we do a lot of work on numbers, and we're falling behind. We're not doing that great. So we have the AIDS Walk on this April 18th. I want you all to show up and walk with us and support us. Prevention is the role of the city. The county does care. The role of prevention is the city. The state and other major cities across the state have an addiction to federal funds. This is quite obvious. You guys are addicted to federal funds. You don't want to pitch in. We need to figure out ways of making much more affordable care and services. HIV and aging sucks. I've been living with the virus for 15 years. It's very, very difficult to talk about this topic. So it's really important that we really address this issue all together as one.
Thank you for being here. Councilman Castillo.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank you and the others who have come to speak about this. My background is public health, and I want to let you know that I'm going to reach out to Crystal and get some time to meet with you all to further discuss specifically what it is you'd like to see from the city and have that conversation with you all.
The city gets money, but the thing is that you have to work more on messaging. And there's gaps in messaging and how to deliver those services. And of course, there's been cuts from the federal funds on many things. And we're just addicted to federal funds. We need to work better on that. Thank you.
Did you have a procedural motion?
Yes, I would like to move to suspend the rules to add Jacob Clementis to the bottom of the speaker's list.
Motion made and second. All in favor say yes. Those opposed nay. Motion passes.
May I begin? Okay.
Hi, my name is Meredith Moore. I'm a constituent of District C. As a teacher, I know that for a child to develop and succeed, they need safety and belonging. In the city that leads the nation's ICE arrests, in large part due to HPD's collaboration with ICE during traffic stops, what does safety and belonging look like for our kids? It looks like me holding a crying teenager while she tells me about her most recent nightmare that her parents are gone. It looks like students typing "fuck ICE" into their graphing calculators instead of their linear functions. It looks like growing absences in my gradebook as more and more families are afraid to leave home. Removing the first provision from Salinas' Prop A tells our children that y'all don't even care if there's a judge's signature before you tear their lives apart. How's that for safety and belonging? By passing Prop A without the original language, you are sowing terror where educators are trying to sow seeds. End HPD's collaboration with ICE and pass Prop A with its original language. Thank you.
Daryl Harper. Ryan Schonberg. Rachel Reynolds. Trying to see. To be followed by Bridget Land.
Hello, my name is Rachel Reynolds. I'm here today to advocate for the usage of native plants and trees on the city-approved list. I approached this council back in October 2024 to propose changing the list. I got great response. Everyone seemed to be in agreement the list needs to be updated. Parks and Rec shared with me their own list with native plant choices, but the old list is still in the Code of Ordinances. Last time I approached the council with casual curiosity, but this time I'm choosing my words more carefully because the gravity of this situation could not be more serious. Invasive, poisonous plants that are harmful to our environment are being planted under the requirements of the city. Native plants consume less resources, less water, fertilizer, no pesticides. We are actively wasting money and resources in making the wrong plant choices. The root systems of native plants are also suited to our region, the Gulf Coast Prairie. These plants have deep roots that prevent erosion and soak up water like sponges. I don't even have to mention the flooding problem in Houston because others already did, but I'm looking at part of the problem or what could be part of the solution right here. I will not rest until these lists are updated. I'm a native Houstonian and my life has been changed by...
Your time has expired.
Thank you.
Bridget Land. Lloyd Ford. To be followed by Lindsey Williams.
Hello, everybody. Lloyd Ford. Again, I'll say this proposition, I believe, is about solutions. I would commend even the council member that been here for only a couple months to have the balls to put it forward for her community. I would say this. Where's our corner store ordinance for our black community? Where's our dilapidated buildings for our community? It ain't rocket science. When she seen the issue, she put something forth in order to as a solution. When Whitmire seen something for his community, guess what? He proposed an ordinance to pass it for his community. Where is ours? It's not rocket science. If River Oaks had dilapidated buildings and corner stores that was overrun in their neighborhoods, what would they do? That's how simple we got to think about it. And we don't do that for our community. And guess what? When all my supporters are asking for solutions and asking who we supporting for these, like they say, these next elections that's coming up, guess what? We looking at who's putting forward solutions for our community at the same time. And then again, I think this proposition should be for everybody.
Your time has expired.
Sir, if you could, sir,
Sir, I just
Salinas.
wanted, my policy director is standing back there, and if you want to talk about any potential solutions you want us to push forward, let's have a conversation.
For sure. I'll make sure my super neighborhood know.
Thank you. Next
Lindsey
speaker.
Williams. To be followed by Pauline Cheatham.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lindsey Williams, and I'm speaking today as an Easton resident, not as a civic leader and not as a super neighborhood president, just a neighbor and a sixth-generation Texan. Super Neighborhood 64 and 88 has voted to support the ordinance clarifying HPD processes with ICE in its original form, and I want to explain why that matters to me. Our residents are talking to us. They tell us that they are afraid. They're afraid to call 911, afraid to report a crime, or even use 311, despite explaining that there's no risk in using 311. They're afraid that routine traffic stop will not end the way it should, and that fear has real consequences for public safety, not just for our immigrant families, but for every one of us who depend on neighbors feeling safe enough to speak up. Personally, I'm worried about the people I live next to, good people, people who contribute to the city every day. It is my job as a super neighborhood president to foster a safe environment, a role I take very seriously, no matter where somebody comes from, their language at home, or the color of their skin. This ordinance doesn't ask Houston to do anything radical, and I urge your support. Thank you.
Pauline Cheatham. Theodore Carrero. Here. To be followed by Richard Schwager.
There used to be a gentleman that hands out everything. You guys have a copy of the presentation. Happy New Year to the entire City Council, especially Mrs. Salinas. I was asked by a Metropolitan Transit Authority bus driver, married to a German-born migrant. Our question is, the topic is, just to interject, bathrooms. Why does the city of Houston, Texas, amongst all districts, are in control of Harris County? Why are we not meeting the basic needs of our customers having bathroom facilities available? The question pertains to Metro Transit Authority transit centers and Houston Parks and Recreation. What are some of the brainstorming, troubleshooting, and problem solving that we could do to solve meeting the basic needs? As many of y'all might know, our Houston Mayor, John Whitmire, told me, keep doing what you're doing. Opportunities will be presenting themselves in the future. Could this be an opportunity for the City Council members to meet the address of lack of public restrooms? I have attached 2 Google overviews of what we find when we type in Metro Transit Authority bathrooms.
Your time has expired.
My time has expired. Happy Easter.
Richard Schwager. Steve Williams. Oh, he's not here. Cesar Espinosa. To be followed by Marion Wright.
Hello. My name is Cesar Espinosa, and I'm Executive Director of FIEL. I feel like we've made some progress from the last couple of weeks, because not only did we finally come clean to the city of Houston that, in fact, Houston is collaborating with ICE, after all of these people were telling City Council and the Mayor that that was happening, but that something finally comes forward. I understand that the overly paid city attorney has found an issue with this, but I think what we are all asking is for City Council to show leadership, true leadership, and move forward with what these folks are asking, with what we're asking, to be able to provide some sort of help and reprieve to the calls. And I'll share this with you, and I've been sharing this with everybody. In 2023, FIEL received 23 intakes for deportation defense. In 2025, we received 23,859. That's not an accident.
Hi, my name's Marion Wright. I attended a super neighborhood meeting, Super Neighborhood 51, with Mario Castillo, Councilmember Castillo, who's my council member, and it happened that also the Chief Diaz was there. What I find very interesting about that meeting is they were asking Chief Diaz many questions, whatever anybody wanted to. Not one person brought up this amendment, this proposition. It wasn't even on anyone's radar. What people were worried about was crime, homelessness, dogs. Am I missing anything? I think those were the major things, okay? This is an echo chamber. These are special interest groups, a lot of them that are here. When I asked Councilmember Salinas, I met with her and I said, have you gone to the super neighborhoods? Have you talked to the community? Have you met with Houstonians and spoken with them? Her list of support groups, these are all special interest groups. They're all special interest groups. She's calling this a movement.
Your time has
We
expired.
need to speak to the community members. We need to speak to Houstonians. And we need to stop having people in the audience not allow everybody to speak. It's not right.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
We all have a right to speak, and this has to stop. It just has to stop.
That's right. Your time has expired. Thank you. Okay. One moment. Oh, never mind. Oh, thank you. Next speaker.
Thank you.
Lisa Hunt.
Good evening. I'm Lisa Hunt, and I come to you this evening as an Episcopal priest to advocate for the passage of Prop A, clarifying the relationship between the Houston Police Department and ICE. This year, the Jewish observance of Passover coincides with the Christian observance of Holy Week. Both holidays commemorate the movement of God to liberate people from oppression at the hands of power. In the Passover, God demanded to let my people go. That met with the resistance from a Pharaoh who thought he was God until he was defeated at the Red Sea. Similarly, during Holy Week, Christians remember the power of Caesar in the person of Pontius Pilate to oppress and kill those who question the morals of empire, in contrast to the power of God to free us from the values of death. Today, federal and state policies seek to criminalize immigrants and refugees and to require cities like Houston to collaborate with their cruel and oppressive dictates. These policies are a moral offense and to the United States Institution.
Your time has expired.
Let our people go pass this ordinance.
Ma'am, hold on one second. Ma'am. Okay, sorry, never mind. Next speaker.
Okay, thank you.
Sarah Saeed, to be followed by Rain Eatman.
I'm Sarah Sayed, Policy Manager at Woody Juntos. The Proposition A process did not include a legal review component, and this was later codified by this council. This means you have the authority to amend the Proposition A process or challenge the city attorney's opinion. Many of us have raised concerns about non-traffic stops, unchecked officer discretion, Fourth Amendment violations, and their impact. You have been provided community testimony, your own data, and asked questions. A year and a half ago, I asked you what your plan was for SB 4 and its interaction with ICE and local law enforcement unfolding in our city, and we've already seen the consequences. Every time police and ICE collaborate together, they're taking a page from the Israeli Defense Force practices because they are trained by them. We've seen unnecessary arrests, rising legal costs for families, increased detentions leaving families unsure of where their loved ones even are. Jail overcrowding and victims of sexual assault are afraid to come forward. And today I'm asking, how will you change these policies? Will you strengthen the original intent of this ordinance presented by Councilmember Salinas and help it move forward?
Your time has expired.
Thanks.
Rain Eatman. Rain Eatman. Randall Callanan. Hi Bowie. Lindsay Burrows. To be followed by Thomas Sutherland.
Good evening. My name is Lindsay Burrows. I'm not a lawyer, but I think you need to reevaluate the city lawyer. There is a reason why Dallas and Austin and the other cities are literally not allowing, or, they implemented the discretionary policies regarding the ICE administrative warrants. I thought we were better than Dallas. Everyone in here thinks we're better than Dallas. Apparently, we're not. That's a little crazy. These cities operate under the same state law that Houston does, so why has our city attorney removed this provision? We demand that the city attorney release their ruling to the public. I'm also asking for the original Prop A immigration ordinance introduced by City Councilmember Salinas as it was written, with all three provisions intact, eliminating the prolonging of traffic stops, requiring periodic transparency reports from HPD, and most importantly, granting officers the discretion to not contact federal immigration authorities on the basis of these administrative warrants alone. Thank you.
Thomas Sutherland, to be followed by Carolina Martinez.
Good evening. I have testified several times in front of this body speaking on the violence that ICE officials perpetrate under the guise of immigration enforcement. I have asked you to see the humanity in Renee Good, Keith Porter, and Alex Preddy, to do what you can to keep another name off that somber list of individuals whose lives have been cut short. City policy, as it stands now, does not do that. Prop A, as it stands now, does not do that. So what must be done? How many more human lives must be taken from us for this council to take real action? How many more lives must be lost in ICE custody? How many more families must be torn apart? How many children traumatized? How deep must the wounds run through our communities before this body takes meaningful action? Houston deserves better than the feckless leadership that this body so-called provides, and if you won't do better, we will find people who will. Thank you.
Carolina Martinez, to be followed by Jasmine Katamakbari.
Okay. Hi, my name is Caro. What happened to Councilmember Salinas' proposition last week was not neutral. It was not consistent, and it was not credible. Arturo Michel struck down a key provision while cities like Dallas and Austin move forward with the same policies without consequence. That's not caution, that's selective enforcement. And when legal opinions only seem to appear like they're politically convenient, people start to notice. And let's be clear, the city attorney was appointed by the mayor, and when his decisions just happen to align with what the mayor wants blocked, it raises a serious question: whose interests are actually being served? Because this isn't about protecting the city, it's about protecting power. You cannot claim legal risk in one breath and ignore it everywhere else. You cannot apply one standard here and completely different ones in every other major city in Texas. That's not law, that's politics. And if this council is comfortable hiding behind that, then say it plainly. Otherwise, you need to pass the original proposition as written.
Houston is behind the curve. Dallas and Austin police departments both have policies that don't require their officers to call ICE for administrative warrants. Houston does not. We would have, but it was cut by our city attorney, who said it was unlawful. Why? He's not elected. He's appointed by our mayor. And in 2023, he was the highest paid City of Houston official. And now, because of his legal opinion, a key part of this ordinance was struck down. So I ask the city attorney to release his legal opinion to the public, because every person who has come here to testify over the past year deserves to know why their ordinance was watered down. The day laborers in District C, the students at Sam Houston High School, in District H, whose soccer captain is still in ICE detention, they all deserve to know why. Because this ordinance, as much as I thank Councilmember Salinas for bringing it forward, this ordinance belongs to us, to Houstonians, and we deserve an ordinance that protects us just as much as the people in Dallas and in Austin. Thank you.
Anthony Hubbard. to be followed by Michelle Bouchard.
Thank you, Salinas, Gaiman, Pollard. And since Whitmire's not here, I want to speak to all of y'all council members here. Despite what some may say, people too support this. You can talk to anyone. District H, my district, Castillo was there when Mauro, a high school student, was deported and taken from the family. I don't know how many of y'all had anyone close to y'all, but if my kid was taken from me, I would do heaven and hell to get them back. People care about this, and you can talk to them, and you can just listen to the stories. These aren't special interests, these are people. I ask that all of y'all support Prop A, and all of y'all stand by our communities. Thank you.
Michelle Bouchard, to be followed by Jeff Reese.
Thank you. I'm a community organizer in Council District C, and I am shocked and appalled at Proposition A because it's a blatant, organized hijacking of our priorities in this city. This is a dangerous city. We know this is a dangerous city, and we all should feel safe, and that is why law and order must be our priority. By the way, Councilman Pollard, where's the outrage in this room over those cops who were shot in Gulfton recently at a routine traffic stop? Would they not have them do that traffic stop and have that guy out there shooting unarmed citizens? Where is the outrage over the children and the women trafficked in Gulfton, and the outrage over Marietta Wilson, who was blatantly murdered in the Heights recently? Where is the outrage over the kids afraid to play outside in Sunnyside because they're going to be shot? This is a hijacking of our priority, and keep your priorities straight, Council. Protect us. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Jeff Reese. Samuel Jesse, to be followed by Claire Johnson.
Hello. My name is Dr. Samuel Jess, representing my views as a revenant residing in District D. While this civic congregation here today clearly testifies why we call an end to HPD's collaboration with ICE, let me instead offer clairvoyance to the future. Councilmember Salinas' original language for Prop A is the bare minimum. Recall the vast majority here today demanding this for our communities. Failure to adopt this proposal will be carved on your name. If you ignore this demand, your career in public office is numbered. Trust that as you seek re-election, working class people outnumber you, and our organizing fervor will outmatch you. May this chamber bear witness to your decision and serve as an impending tribunal. United together, we embody the spirit of solidarity, the spirit of justice, and the spirit of democracy made manifest. And by the power of this collective spirit, we will haunt you.
Claire Johnson. Andrea Rapier. Jay Bustos. To be followed by Maximiliano Diaz.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jay. I'm your friendly neighborhood Houstonian. The request and demand is pretty simple. Houston needs to cut all ties with ICE. At the very least, and major props to the Prop A, but at the very least, as the next step, or more the main goal, end non-safety traffic stops. I could go down the facts on the dangers of all the non-safety traffic stops, such as like rarely uncovered evidence on random crime, or more likely to end a police force, or even risks for higher risk towards people of color. But this is supposed to be a huge step towards, supporting our neighbors and our residents. And non-safety traffic stops would be a big step to ending the biggest factor to giving ICE a BS excuse to ripping families apart. If you don't want to look at it at humanity and a moral perspective, you could look at it at a fiscal view. This would reduce waste time for officers, that they could allocate towards something else.
Maximiliano Diaz.
My name's Maximiliano Diaz. So, Houston voters gave this council a check on mayoral power, and council member Salinas used it. Yet somehow, an unelected city attorney appointed by the supposedly very, very tolerant mayor gutted the most important provision before it could even reach a vote. Everyone knows SB 4 does not require enforcing administrative warrants. Dallas knows this, Austin knows this, yet Houston city officials don't seem to know this. My family deserves a city that knows this too. Pass the full ordinance, reinstate the provision with an amendment. Our city should not work with terrorists like ICE or Mayor Whitmire. By the way, earlier someone said to give those speaking ill of immigrants respect. I don't think Nazis deserve respect. The original ordinance is the bare minimum. We should also stop non-safety traffic stops and end the city contract with block safety, as it's proven to target Black and Hispanic communities.
Jeremy Peel, to be followed by Michelle Eigenbohr of Hockley.
Good evening, Council. My name is Jeremy Peel. I'm an attorney living in District C, and I'm here to speak about the proposed ordinance. I support this ordinance because it eliminates the Fourth Amendment violation I mentioned at a previous public session. However, I believe that HPD officers should have the choice whether or not to contact ICE as opposed to being required to. This provision does not violate SB 4. SB 4 would not allow a city policy that, quote, prohibits or materially limits enforcement of immigration laws. This ordinance, even with officer discretion, does neither. It does not ban communications between HPD and ICE, nor does it restrict it. It simply allows officers to choose whether or not to contact ICE, much like the discretion officers exercise every day. In both Dallas and Austin, police officers are not required to contact ICE when they find an individual with an administrative warrant, and neither of these cities have been confronted with legal action for any alleged violation of state law. In closing, I not only urge this council to pass this ordinance, but I also request that the city attorney release a legal opinion detailing why this provision was removed and why he disagrees with the 3 elected attorneys on council that proposed this ordinance. Thank you.
Michelle Eigenbohr from Hockley, to be followed by Bernadette Kiki.
Hi. The conduct of HPD with regarding this private classification follows exactly how this framework is being introduced: informal and off the books. I just want to repeat what I stated last week. The FBI does not have internal policy to enforce any private classification against civilians. And what's coming out about this framework are the consequences associated with inclusion in systems such as the National Crime Information Center, including entries within files like the Violent Gang Terrorist Organization file and the alerts and coordinating measures that follow from inclusion. By the act of inclusion of a civilian in that system, it reflects a level of concern treated as justified that has been determined. which then triggers alerts, coordinating measures, and increased
Your
scrutiny.
time has expired.
Can I get more time? No? Okay. Which is why I've been coming here with regarding police harassment. It's scrutiny that comes from inclusion in systems like the NCIC. Right. Thank
Bernadette Kiki. To be followed by Stephanie Wilkins.
Greetings, blessed Mayor and all council members. Shout out to you. You all know I'm from District F, and I'm Bernadette Kiki, 35 years of being in Houston. Blessed Houstonians, crying and praying that we in Houston do not go to hell. And, and I'm here to announce that the hour of human existence, as we know it, is speedily about to come to an end. This last Sunday, the mega ancient prophet of Jehovah Yahweh, ancient Elijah, called down rain in the very before of the whole world, the 30th time. The 30th time, the Lord Jehovah Yahweh announcing
your time
that
has
the
expired.
glorious Jesus Christ is coming back. Houstonians, the glorious Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, who died on the cross for us, is coming back. And he wants us all to know
He's going to be upset when he gets here.
because time is over. I'm crying and wailing every day. As Mama Kiki, I don't want to see anybody go to hell. Please take my coming here seriously.
Yes.
And let's work together and bring the mega prophet. They are going from nation to nation. Nation to nation. You said that we can do. The Lord Jesus loves you and loves you, Mayor. The real leader that is needed at this time. Thank you so much for having me.
Stephanie Wilkins. Joetta Stevenson. To be followed by Felix Kapoor.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and all of City Council. I'm Joetta Stevenson, and I'm the president of the Greater Fifth Ward Super Neighborhood. I've come here to speak about traffic stops. They are still way, way, way too high. I know that last year, the early part of last year, that you stopped that one stop, one officer per day. I know you stopped that, but it was still an uptick. Remember in 2023, the number of traffic stops escalated unbelievably high. Well, we still are very, very high. We're too high. And black people lead the pack in who's getting stopped in this city. We need to encourage officers, or HPD, the chief, to please tell their officers to stop stopping people for broken taillights or other ridiculous things. What about the safety of Houstonians? What about people that are driving recklessly? Target them. Target others
Your time has expired.
that are endangering us.
Thank you.
And I call on all the city council to help.
Felix Kapoor. To be followed by Joseph Amari.
All right. Good evening, Council. Good evening, Mayor. My name is Felix Kapoor, resident of District I and a proud member of the Northeast Action Collective. Houston's threat to flooding just increased significantly, especially with neighborhoods in Northeast Houston. I'm asking all of Council to invest in public works by hiring the almost 400 employees that were pushed out with early retirement and job cuts last year. This administration claims to have made historic drainage investments, but how can you invest money into a department then take away close to 10% of its workforce? Apparently that's called efficiencies. The new FEMA flood maps have been released, and that should be enough evidence to support this demand. But I kind of want to ask a different question. When is this council going to be brave When are we going to stand up and make $100 million decisions to protect the people? We don't need a freeway expansion. We don't need George R. Brown to host the next Republican National Convention. We don't need our streets paved for the World Cup. That isn't what we need.
Your
we
time
need an
has
end
expired.
to all collaboration between HPD and ICE. We need the people protected. Make $100 million investments into the people. And whoever said they need to talk to the community in Houston from that super neighborhood, this is the community. We are the community.
Somebody left your bag here, brother. Somebody left something here. Is this yours? Anybody left it? That's yours? Oh, thank you. Okay. We're a proud black American with a rich historical legacy and heritage of achievement in the field of social economics, political justice, arts, entertainment, music, sports, science, politics, business, education, medicine. John Hanson was the first president and the first black president of the United States of America who created the Treasury Department, the Commerce Department, the Defense Department, and the Department of Foreign Affairs. Frederick Douglass was the first free black American orator who was invited to speak at the independence celebration, who spoke and abolished slavery during slavery. We black Americans have accumulated 400 of generational collective wealth, 200 years of sweat ethic wealth without pay in the name of freedom and slavery. Other 200 years we've received just compensation for our labor and created contributions to the global world economy in every field. We didn't come to America on the Mayflower as immigrants. We were brought here as America in the shackles of slavery. We were the first human traffic business after Barack Obama.
Your time has expired. Letitia Gutierrez. Nick Vaughn. To be followed by Jacob Clementich.
Good evening. Thank you so much for squeezing me in. My name is Nick Vaughn. I'm here in my capacity as a representative and member of the board of the Houston LGBTQ Political Caucus to affirm our unanimous support for the Prop A ordinance proposed by Councilmembers Salinas, Pollard, and Kamen. I recognize that there's concern about complying with state and federal law, but let's not confuse compliance with collaboration. It's clear that the discretion provision isn't remotely unlawful. The caucus fully supports the original proposed ordinance. Any step in the right direction is a good step, and I feel confident in saying we would support a revised proposal, and it must be the foundation of much greater reform ahead. Furthermore, I want to point out that this ordinance is in perfect alignment with the Unified Houston Queer Agenda created through collaboration between more than 24 LGBTQ+ serving organizations earlier this year. So while I speak specifically for the caucus, I feel confident in saying that I also speak for Houston's broader queer community in saying we need this ordinance and more. Finally, I will add the caucus will be watching each vote on this ordinance very closely.
Jacob, just a moment. Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a procedure motion. I move to suspend the rules to add Janelle Robles. I guess after Jacob.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say yes. Those opposed nay. No. Go for it, Jacob.
Be like me, but for Nick Hallier. At any rate, Aggie joke time. This Aggie professor and double study of chemistry and kinesiology said it's best to have ice. You know why? You can use it to heal a wound. With water, you can drown in it, and in steam, you can be burned.
But I'm
Go forward, Jacob. Go ahead.
Well, I want to say this. My father was an immigrant. He was a legal immigrant. And, I'm a son of an immigrant. And yet, I was arrested, and I had a felony charge, and I had time in jail. But, hey, I got better. I mean, I might have a mental health issue, but I take my medication, and I get better and better every day and in every way. And I was thinking, Well, when I was in jail,
Your time has
Mayor John Whitmire was a state senator, and he was in charge of criminal justice, so he knows what he's doing.
Thank you, Jacob. Next.
Janelle Robles.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Janelle Robles. I am a resident here in Houston. I have been a public servant for nearly a decade. I served as a Harris County felony prosecutor, protecting victims of violent crime, a magistrate judge in Harris County Probable Cause Court, and recently as a felony public defender here in Harris County. Because I am bilingual, nearly all of my caseload involves representing Spanish-speaking immigrants, individuals charged with a crime. And it is sad to say in the last year or so, I have seen a rise in the number of bizarre cases filed against my immigrant clients. And I'm seeing my clients getting arrested, charged, and accused for behaviors of other clients that I wouldn't otherwise see. And it's been pervasive. And because I was taught as a young prosecutor to evaluate the evidence thoroughly, many of my cases have been dismissed. And sadly, they're still getting deported and going to ICE. Thank you. And so I'm asking for support of the proposition. Thank you.
This completes the list of speakers.
We stand. Anyone got overlooked that signed up? State your name, ma'am.
My name is Coretta Brown.
Were you on the list?
Yes.
Please proceed.
In regards to Prop A, it's decent, but it lacks inclusivity. I firmly agree that safe traffic stops should be about safety, not suspicion. Every driver, no matter their race, background, income, or immigration status, deserves to be treated fairly. When we create policies that reflect that, we're not just helping one group, we're protecting entire communities. But the moment you exclude any demographic for any reason, you stop being a counsel for all people, and you begin to slip on the very promise that got you elected. Also, this can't stop with discretion. It has to move to prevention. That means addressing the issue in a way that works for everyone. Inclusive policies reduce harm, it builds trust, and it make our roads safer for us all.
Thank you. We stand in recess till 9 in the morning.